Well, good afternoon. It is sometime after 1:30 on January 30th, 2021. And I'm here at the apartment, and I woke up with all kinds of things to say, and I got a bunch of windows open on the computer and some images and a little book here. Nobody listens to Andrew. And in my last video, I said, I'm living a pretty different life over here. And this is just one of the things about it that I find interesting. So, if I've done this right, this is entitled The Rapture, an Observational Analysis of Threat Response. What does that mean? That means it's going to be generally observable. I'm just going to be able to look around and see how sane people react to threats upon their lives, something that's threatening. Andrew is a little boy in this story who reacts to a bear in his bed. He's threatened by that bear in his bed. Hey, buddy, I'm not threatened by the bear in my bed because the bear in my bed is Oso. He's my dog. You ready? And off he goes. Stay. So there's different responses to different things. The bear in my bed isn't a threat. The bear in his bed is a threat. And people will react differently based upon what the threat is. So if you're tracking with me, let's just run this down. So in the story, nobody listens to Andrew, and this was first published, I believe, in 1957. I don't know if you're going to be able to read it. It's right above my fingernail there. Maybe not. 1957. So 4 years before I was born, Elizabeth Guilfoyle wrote this story. And she had the cover art done that way. And I really like the cover art. It's super cute. And he's pointing upstairs to something that is threatening. And Andrew wants to let you know, hey, there's something up there that's going to be a problem. And so Andrew's reaction to the bear in his bed is perfectly normal. You would want to tell somebody if there was something threatening that they would want to know about. And it's a proper response. And it's a good response. He's a good kid. He wants to warn people. And so I feel like I'm that kid. And when I was in kindergarten and I found this book for the first time, I was like, I was just stoked because it had my name in it. And I thought, wow, that's cool. That's like me. And so I always liked it. And it stayed in my memory for years. Well, along comes the internet and credit cards and everything else. And I'm old enough now that I can buy a copy. I bought 2 copies because I thought it was just totally cool. And then a few years later, I get this little guy. Drop it. Oops. I get this little guy at the Humane Society, and I will tack that footage on later. It's already in my past videos, but he came with the name of Oso. He came with a Spanish name, and we kept it. And so he's my dog. I won't go into the details of it, but he's my dog. And after that happens, I go, wow. It's like 50-something years later, and I actually do have a bear in my bed. And I love it. It's just priceless. So God is working out the details of my life to match this book. Now, the writer of this book is Elizabeth Guilfoyle, and I believe she lived in Cincinnati. And so, why she chose this type of background, I have no idea. But I find it interesting that even the wallpaper on this has to do with a portion of my life. If you can see the wallpaper, it is just a ton of fleur-de-lis, especially right there. That's probably the most clear fleur-de-lis in the picture. And so, what is the fleur-de-lis on a yellow background? Well, Elizabeth Guilfoyle probably wouldn't have any cause to know that, but I do. Because there is a map of the St. Louis, there is an image of the St. Louis Arch and 3 flags. Flag of the United States of America, flag of the state of Missouri, And the flag of the city of St. Louis. And what is in the very center of the flag of the city of St. Louis? But a fleur-de-lis on a yellow background. This book is about a little boy named Andrew with a bear in his bed, and it's got the image of St. Louis over and over and over again. And where was I born? St. Louis. Anybody else in my family born in St. Louis? No, I'm the only one. My daughter born in St. Louis? Yeah. Very big St. Louis connection for me. It's my hometown. I still live here. And its symbol is a fleur-de-lis on a yellow background. That's the kind of interesting life I'm living. So on top of that, I got a daughter drawing pictures of the Rapture. Or I've my name, Andrew Nicholas. Andrew, the Greek for Andrew is manly or a man. And Nikolaos, Nico means victorious, and Laos means of Laodicea. So Andrew the victorious of Laodicea, which means we're in the Laodicean age, which means the church should be blind, naked, wretched, miserable, and poor. And that's exactly what the churches of today are. And that's the message that Jesus gave to the Laodicean church in Revelation. What Revelation? Where do you find that? The 7th letter to the church of Laodicea, was given in Revelation 3:1-4. What's the area code for St. Louis? 3:1-4. Where do you find the truth of God's name? In Exodus 3:1-4. That's the kind of life I'm living. And that's just a small portion of it. So what does that mean? That means that I got something to say and nobody wants to listen. But eventually, people will listen to Andrew. So, love that book. Love it. Not as much as I love the Bible, because the Bible's going to save my soul. That book's just fascinating. Now, God's hand is in everything. He is absolutely sovereign, and there isn't anything that gets past him. What happens is we are limited, and we don't understand what he's doing. And eventually, he lets us know. One day, we'll know it all. Whew, that's going to be a trip to see. So that's what's going on. What is today all about? What is it with threat response? Well, Andrew has a proper threat response to the bear in his bed. I have a proper threat response to the bear that's in my bed. Mine's harmless. And other people have threat responses. So what I was doing was looking at YouTube. You see, we got John Stossel's channel, 352,000 views on this video alone. COVID hypocrites. And below that in my history is politicians try to convince citizens to wear a mask. Bloomberg Markets and Finance, 109,000 views. No mask, Nanciy Pelosi's COVID hypocrisy caught on tape. Donald J. Trump channel, 280,000 views. Wow. Okay, so let's take a look at it. This one is especially telling, and I really do. And I'm gonna blow that one up. This is CBS. Can you see that? I hope you can see that. It's CBS live report U.S. Capitol during the lockdown amid the protests, and it's on CBSN with YouTube. I'll leave the links down below. So let's listen to what they say.
This is video from inside the House earlier. So this, where this is being shot from, is actually the side of the House chamber where the First Lady normally sits.
Yes, correct.
During a stadium there, you can see members of Congress. That's Pramila Jayapal.
Pramila Jayapal from Washington, correct.
Remember, there you go. You can, let's listen.
Now, right here, we have a congresswoman who is praying. She is praying. We have another with her camera up, and she's wearing her mask for smoke, or it's a ventilator type mask, just in case there's some sort of attack. Down in this corner here, we have the doors that are barred. These are all probably Secret Service, and in a little bit you'll see images of them with their weapons drawn, barricading the door. So, they're under threat, and this is the response. This would be a proper response to a threat. They believe that they're in need of help. One woman so much so that she's praying to God for help. Proper response. I'm just going to shrink that down. We'll go to the next one. So then we have this. a proper response to a pandemic.
And wear a mask. Wear a mask whenever your state and local authorities say it's appropriate.
Everyone needs to wear a mask in public. Period. Period. Wear a mask.
Until we get a vaccine, put on the mask. It's not complicated.
Wear a face covering when you go out in public. It is not an inconvenience. It is not a suppression of your freedom.
Avoiding crowds, staying distance, and when in a situation like that, wear a mask.
We'll take these, worn by everybody, in the coming days to make sure that we will protect those lives and we will slow the spread of COVID-19.
So do your part.
Don't let COVID win. Wear a mask.
Just do it.
Just do it.
He's especially telling. That's Gavin Newsom, governor of California. We're going to go to him next with the COVID hypocrites. This is John Stossel again.
This is a fancy restaurant. At the French Laundry, dinners can cost $800. It's so luxurious that the late Anthony Bourdain said.
This is like driving a Rolls Royce.
Yeah, could do without his
Because of
comment.
COVID, we shouldn't eat here. It's in California where the governor says.
It's absolutely essential avoiding mixing with people that are outside of your households.
Okay, we won't go. But wait, look at this picture.
Governor Gavin Newsom dining at the luxurious French Laundry restaurant.
No masks anywhere and multiple households against his own rules. Now, you might have heard about Newsom's hypocrisy, but it was worse than we thought.
Politicians' priorities will always be put first.
Yep, politicians' priorities will always be put first. And we might as well throw in Nanciy Pelosi just because.
Science that says you must test, trace, treat, you must wear your mask, you must have sanitation, you must wear your mask, you must wear your mask.
So, proper threat response. Right? It's not about masks. It's about what's the appropriate response to a threat. So, we have COVID-19 pandemic unleashed from China, by whom we're still unsure because it could be a worldwide conspiracy. But we have COVID-19. We also have this vaccine that they're putting out for COVID-19. And we have this immense pandemic, worldwide threat. And what is the threat response from these people? From our governors? From our government? The threat response is, wear a mask. This thing's real. But then we have their actions, which categorically goes against that. Newsom's in a restaurant without a mask, more than just his own family. Politicians are out there walking around like this is no big deal. To me, that's a problem. There's only a couple ways to look at this. Either they are absolutely insane and suicidal in their ideology because they know and they have told the entire world, this entire nation, that wearing a mask is mandatory and staying in is mandatory, and these things must be done because we are under a huge threat from this virus. And yet they are not taking it seriously. They are showing a response of, it's no big deal. So which is it? Is it no big deal? Or is it a really big deal? Well, I believe in an old saying that says, I can't even think of it now, I just got a block. Actions speak louder than words. There's a whole lot of rhetoric on how dangerous this is, but their actions are conveying a message that this isn't dangerous at all. In fact, you can go out with whoever you want and go anywhere you want and not wear a mask, as long as you don't get caught by your barber's CCTV. It's a problem, okay? So either they're just full-on insane and should be removed from office for that reason, or they're co-conspirators to defraud the American people and the people of the world of their right to free movement, which is another reason they should be taken out of office. I don't think there's any other option. I think these people need to go. And who we're going to replace them with, I have no idea. And which side of the aisle goes, both of them. Because none of them are working in the interest of truth. I said in the other video that, look, they just want to get this serum, this vax, into every person. And I set up a scenario whereby it kind of showed that, you know what? It's a conspiracy. And it happened long before COVID ever showed up. And all the pieces of the puzzle were already cut and ready to be placed. They're just playing down pieces, just enough to get you to put the mask on. Just enough to get you to take the virus vaccination. Okay? But their threat response reaction is completely wrong. And it shows their fact that they're not genuine. That this is a conspiracy. Because if their house were burning down, do you think they'd just sit in there and be like, la-dee-da-dee-da? No, they'd get them out. And they'd handle it differently. Only a crazy person, only someone who's insane, takes a legitimate threat and ignores it. So they're either insane, they need to be out of office, or they're conspiring to remove the rights of Americans against the Constitution, and they need to be removed from office for that reason as well. So our government has conspired against its people. They are there by the will of the people, and if the people choose, they can remove them. And there are elections coming up, and this is how they should be removed. A fully legal, legitimate process. I believe each state should stand up and impeach the people they have in there and place people in there that will represent the people of the United States. Now, what does this have to do with Jesus? It has everything to do with Jesus. God said there was going to be a great delusion that was going to come across the entire world, that they would believe the lie and that they would take the mark of the beast, that they would just fall into this system. And so many people have fallen into this system. And it appears from God's word that many people will continue to fall into this system, and they will take the mark. Just don't let it be you. You're here listening to this video. You're watching what it is that I'm saying. I believe I've been given a pulpit. I actually was given a pulpit, as a matter of fact, by a guy in North St. Louis on St. Louis Avenue. But I believe I've been given a pulpit to speak about these things for these reasons. Look, there's a threat. There is a bear in the bed, and it's called vax. You need to watch out. You need to take the Bible seriously. There's more going on than you may understand. This is a message to awaken people. I had somebody help with the ministry, and he sent me a couple of numbers, and those numbers correlated to words in the Bible, and basically he was telling me, speak, awaken people. Time is short. Get this done now. And because of his help, I'm able to do that. I paid off a couple of bills and kept on moving, and I'm I'm going to keep going as long as I can go. And the other thing is, I'm now beginning to believe, because of the support, that this may go bigger than what I thought. That, if enough people hear it, maybe something will happen. I don't know. I don't know how big this is going to get. And it doesn't have to be big. And it doesn't have to be any bigger than me and what I'm doing right now. Nothing needs to change. Just need to be able to pay my electric and get myself online. So the bottom line is the information's available. There are witnesses to what is happening. If you're a Christian and you love Jesus, dig into this and find out more. If you're just showing up to the understanding, but use wisdom. Ask God for wisdom. He gives it abundantly, according to the book of James. Any who asks for wisdom, He gives it in abundance. And ask with a full heart, a heart towards Him. Jesus and God the Father HAYAH, and the Holy Spirit are three in one, the Trinity. And they, together as one, want only one thing: a genuine heart towards them, Him, towards God, and a genuine heart towards people. If you know God and you're filled with His Spirit, you will be concerned about other people getting this message. I'm not the only one speaking this message. I know I'm not the only one speaking this message. Someone's got to be saying it. In fact, I know other people are saying it because I get some of my information from other people. And so, join in. Tell someone. Reference this video to somebody else, or just tell them, look, it's pretty obvious. Politicians aren't wearing their masks. Must not be a threat. Why should we put up with this? The bottom line is that no matter whether the United States stands or falls, whether it falls and then comes under new management, which would hopefully be a godly Congress, a godly Senate, and a godly executive branch and judiciary branch, we can use what they wrote. We just don't have to take their religion with it. And when Jesus shows up, we'll have leadership that can't be corrupted. We will return from the rapture, from the wedding supper of the Lamb, and we will be in glorified bodies that can travel through time and space, show up anywhere we want, whenever we want. How can you bribe someone who has that power? There's nothing that you can give on the earth that someone would give up that for. When you can step into the heavenlies and stand next to God Himself and just bask in His glory, what can somebody of the world offer you to be corrupt, to side with them, to play favorites? Jesus hates people that play favorites. He hates it. You show partiality to the rich. Very bad. And that's what's going on. The rich have the money to build corporations. Those corporations then donate to politicians. Those politicians are then beholding to those corporations, and we never get a say. The people never get a say. One day they will. One day we will, because Jesus will be ruling and reigning from Jerusalem. And those who rule and reign with Him will be uncorruptible. There isn't a thing that you'll be able to offer a child of God with a glorified body. And so then there will be righteousness. Then when problems come up and they come before those who rule and reign, they'll simply get justice. It'll be a different world. But we have to wait for that. It's probably going to be at least 7 more years, probably 7 more years in a few months. I believe that the rapture's coming soon. The other bear in the bed is the Antichrist. And that's something else that I have knowledge of. And I've said that before, and I've said it with, I believe, enough specificity that you could that you can take a look at these things. But I hope that you do take a look at them. And, I don't expect the world to change, because the Bible says it's not going to change. It's going to go into a 7-year tribulation that's going to be terrible. But don't let it be you that goes into that tribulation. I hope this message has come through loud and clear. I hope you're seeing the truth of it. There really isn't anything else to say. God bless and take care. Bye.